Hello, my dearest friends. Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt, and welcome to the very last video of 2024 on my channel. It's one that has kind of become a tradition. I typically do a couple of those wrap-up videos at the end of December, and typically the last one is my most anticipated releases of 2025, so the new year. And I'm going to be doing this again this year. I already posted my most anticipated romances of 2025. I'm going to link that video up in the cards if you want to check it out if you haven't already. I just recently released it, and today I'm going to be doing the anticipated releases when it comes to the contemporary genre. Romances that I'm really looking forward to, and there's a lot. There's a lot on this list. I think I have about 40 books to talk about, so this will be kind of quick fire. I may stop here and there with some more thoughts, but most of these books, I'm just going to give you the title, a little bit of what I know, release date, and the cover so you can check it out. And I'm just going to try to keep myself accountable at the end of the year to see how many of these I've been able to cross off, because now that I'm looking at them, I really am very excited about almost all of them. So I really want to get to most of these books by the end of next year. And I've arranged them according to their release date. So starting from books that are coming out in January, and I'm going to go ahead and dive in because, like I mentioned, this video is going to be long enough with 40 books to talk about. So the first 3 books are actually standalone companions to each other, and they're written by 3 different authors. They're going to be coming out in quick succession after one another, and the first one is called Fight. That one is by Sloane St. James. This one is coming out on January 7th, and all of them are going to be focusing on wildfire firefighters, and they have the most gorgeous covers. I have to tell you, when I saw them first on Instagram, I was like, oh my God, what is this new trend with those very realistic and very interesting kind of illustrated covers? They seem very real, but at the same time very crafty. I don't know how to better explain it, but really, like, the style of illustration is very genuine and it's very beautiful. And the first one is Fight, like I mentioned. The second one is going to be called Protect. That one is written by Paisley Hope, and it's coming out on January 9th, so 2 days later. And then the next one is going to be Honor by Danielle Baker, which is coming out 2 days later on January 11th. I don't know too much about the plot besides the fact that the heroes are firefighters, so wildfire firefighters, and just the gorgeous covers. I'm just going to be picking them up. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to be available on KU. So if they are, I'm going to be binging them through KU, and I'm really excited for these 3. The next one is coming out on January 14th. This one actually, is it a debut? I'm not sure, but the book is called The Favorites by Lane Fargo. It's mentioned that it's an epic love story set in the sparkling savage sphere of elite figure skating about a woman determined to curve down her own path on and off the ice. Now, you all know me. I love all kinds of sports romances that are focusing on sports that are not the run-of-the-mill kinds of sports. So From Look Off With Love is one of my all-time favorite romances, which focuses on figure skaters as well. So I have high hopes for this one. And then the next one is called Unromance by Erin Connor, which will come out on January 14th as well. This one is a debut. I'm sorry, I thought that last one was, but this one actually is the debut, which has bi rep. It has a romance author who has a one-night stand with a guy she meets in an elevator. I love the good old elevator, so stuck in the elevator trope. So I'm hoping for good things out of this book as well. And then the next one is by an all-time favorite author of mine, Julie Ann. This one is going to be a new release coming out on January 23rd. It's called The Apple Tree, and it will focus on a single dad. It will be a standalone romance, and I've loved almost all books by Julie Ann. The one exception that I had this year that I read, and actually I didn't finish it, is If This Is Love. I had vowed to myself to finally finish that book, but I got to about a 45% mark and I put it down because it was just not working for me. It was not my kind of a book. But otherwise, all the other books by this author I've loved, so I'm very excited about a new release by Julie Ann. And then the next one is actually one that I'm very, very excited about. So out of the January releases, I think this is the one that I'm most excited about. It's Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. And I'm most excited about this one because it features the marriage and trouble trope. Now, if you all know me, you know that this is one of my all-time favorite tropes. And I find that it's very difficult to find very well executed marriage and trouble romances. And as I've loved all of Hannah Bonham Young's previous books, I'm very hopeful about loving this one as well. The cover for this one is also gorgeous, so I will definitely be picking this up soon. Now, the last release in January is called I Think They Love You by Julian Winters. This is coming out also on January 28th, and it's going to be a second chance romance, and it's going to be a male-male romance. So I'm curious about this one. And moving on to February, we've got Christina Forrest coming out with her next book, which is going to be The Love Lyric. I have really enjoyed the last two books, so The Neighbor Favor and what was the second one? I don't remember the title of it, but I enjoyed both of them. So I'm curious to continue on with exploring new books by Christina Forrest. This one is going to be featuring an R&B singer and a corporate executive who find love while, I think, working together. So it might be a workplace romance that feature the music business. So I'm curious about this one. And then we've got one of the most popular romances coming out in 2025 by Ali Hazelwood called Deep End. Original title was Wet. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but it's going to be a sports romance. I'm very curious about this one because it's going to be Ali's first sports romance, and it's going to be a sports swimmer, and the romance is going to be with a diver, so a swimmer and a diver. Very curious. I think I'll love it, and I can't wait for it. And then Kate Canterbury is coming out with a new book also on February 4th. February 4th is a hot date. There's 4 books on my list alone. And Kate Canterbury is coming out with a book called In a Rush. This one is going to be a best friends, pining hero, marriage pact romance. Say No More, the last book that I read by Kate Canterbury, also had a pining hero, so I'm here for it. I just want to read more of pining, longing, and angst within books, so sign me up. Now, the next one is the long-awaited sequel by Peyton Corinne, another sports romance, a hockey romance. The first one was called Unsteady. I love that one. And the second one is going to be called Unloved. And I don't want to know too much about the plot. The previous one was quite emotional, had great representation in it, and I'm expecting the same in this one, and I'm going to be picking it up. It's releasing also on February 4th. So on February 11th, we're getting the third book within the Butcher and Blackbird world. The third book is going to focus on the youngest brother of the bunch, and it's going to be a circus motorcycle performer. That's the heroine. And a small town doctor, that is the hero. And we already got kind of a preview that their relationship is kind of off limits or kind of forbidden for some reason or another in one of the previous books. So I'm curious to see how this one will play out. And I'm kind of hesitant about this one because I didn't love the second book, but I did like the first book. So I'm hoping to find a middle ground here where I'm enjoying this one as well, but we'll wait out and see. And then on the same date, February 11th, we're getting a new release by B.K. Borison, and it's going to be the first book that is not part of the Love Light Farm series. It's going to be called First Time Caller, and I'm very excited about this one because I've loved all 4 books that were released within the Love Light Farm series, and I'm just excited to read something new by this author. It's going to be a novel that has a hopeless romantic who meets a jaded radio host in this cozy Sleepless in Seattle-inspired love story. Say No More. I love Sleepless in Seattle. I love a situation where we have someone who is very much into love and trying to push someone who is reluctant over the edge. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to this one. Now, the next book, I'm going to be quite honest, I had forgotten about this series because it took such a long time between the last book and this book. And when I saw the cover for it, I was like, oh yeah, I really like those first two books within the series. They're by Alexis Daria, and the book is called Along Came a Moor. This is going to be the third book within her Prima series. And it's a steamy love story between a divorced school teacher who discovers that her perfect no-strings fling is anything but perfect. Now, I thought I did a good job with the release dates and everything, that I had everything chronologically placed. But I have another February release that actually comes out at the beginning of the month, the 6th of February to be exact. The book is called Whirlwind by Kayla Gross. I've come to love Kayla Gross's writing as I read a couple of the books released by this author this year, and I'm very much looking forward to new releases by Kayla Gross. This is going to be a student-teacher age gap, I think, novella. Sign me up. Sign me up, say no more. She does steamy novellas so well. I'm really looking forward to this one. And then we're finally moving on to March. We're getting the third book within the Wild Something series by Elsie Silver. I've yet to pick up Wild Love and Wild Eyes. I'm going to get to them eventually, but I'm also looking forward to the third book, which is Wild Side. It's coming out on March 1st. All of these books feature a single parent, and I think they're all set in the small town where there is this music industry thing going on, I think. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. And then on March 3rd, no, March 4th, we're getting Cara Bastone's new release, which is going to be called Promise Me Sunshine. I love the title, first of all. And the second thing that I love is that I think this is going to be more emotional than we typically get by Cara Bastone, because typically she does kind of rom-com-y situations. This is going to be focusing on a young woman who is grieving the loss of her best friend. Her life is turned upside down when she meets a grumpy stranger who swears that he can help her live again. I'm definitely in the mood for emotional stories. I have to tell you that I'm craving like the Brittany Cherry and Mia Sheridan, and I don't know, just like a more emotional kind of story that I haven't read in a while. So I'm looking forward to this one. Now, for the next one, I'm going to mention it on this list. I have no hopes that I'm going to get to it next year, but I'm excited that it's releasing. It's simply that I have to get caught up on the series by this author. It's the Kings of Sin series by Anna Huang. I still need to read King of Pride, King of, what is it, Wrath, and King of Greed, and King of Envy, I think. Is it? No, Envy is coming out next year. So I still need to get caught up on all of these books that I haven't yet read within the Sin series. The book that is releasing, I think, sometime in March. I haven't written down the date for some reason, but it's called King of Envy. And I'm excited for Anna Huang. She's doing so well in the charts as well as with all the releases that she has, because she released 2 books this year, which is quite a feat. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, even though I probably won't get to it next year. And then we're moving on to books that are releasing in April. The first one being Say You Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. This is one of my most anticipated releases of 2025 because, as we all know, Just for the Summer was my favorite book of the year this year. And I really loved Yours Truly and Part of Your World. So most of the books that have been released lately by this author have been favorites and all-time favorites of mine. And I'm kind of holding out hope that this is going to be a new all-time favorite as well, specifically because this one also has a very interesting premise to it. It has a premise, I think, of the hero and heroine go on this one magical date where everything goes right, everything is perfect, but due to some kind of circumstances, they actually can't continue their relationship. So this again sounds quite emotional, quite heart-wrenching, and I'm here for it. I'm really looking forward to it. Another April 1st release is going to be by Maya Ariel, an author that I discovered this year that I really loved. The book is going to be called No Ordinary Love. I have to tell you that already with the title, I think it references the Sade song. At least for me, I think it references the Sade song, which is one of my all-time favorite songs. This is already a win. And then you take a look at the cover, which is absolutely gorgeous. And the premise for it is a PR relationship between a pop superstar and a pro athlete bad boy. So kind of like a fake dating scenario going on. Sign me up. Sign me up, I'm here for it. Now the next one, I think I was scouring some kind of Goodreads list of releases of 2025 and I came across this book and it sounded really good to me. This one is by London Sperry and it's called Passion Project. It's coming out on April 8th and what I saw in the blurb is Bennett needs to find passion for life and Henry will help her find it. Every Saturday, they'll try something new in New York City as friends, of course. We know that that's not going to be only friend situation. It's going to be a friends to lovers kind of story. And going on these unofficial dates in New York sounds like a splendid time to me. And then we're getting a new Lila Sage release within her Small Town series. This one is going to be called Wild and Wrangled, and it's coming out on April 15th. And it's going to be Camille and Dusty's story. It's going to be a second chance romance where the heroine, I think, is due to marry someone else. So this is going to be interesting and I'm really looking forward to it. And then we're getting another big release on April 22nd. This is going to be Emily Henry's Great Big Beautiful Life. I don't want to know the synopsis of this because everyone is going to be talking about this book anyway. And I'm just going to steer clear off of the internet when it comes to this book and pick it up as blind as I can so I can enjoy it to the fullest. And then I'm going to see what everyone thinks of it so I can compare my impressions of it. But yeah, basically anything that Emily Henry writes, I'm going to be reading. So it's obvious that it's going to be on my list. And then the next release I'm so excited about again because it's the 5th book within the Windy City series by Listom 40. It's going to be called Rewind It Back. And we're finally getting Rio's story. Rio, we met already in the first book, which was Mile High. He's part of the hockey team. He is someone who has been popping up here and there in all the books, and he has been such a fun character to follow. And I'm just hoping that he can get the most epic kind of love story for himself because he has been wanting to be in a relationship but hasn't found his person yet. So I'm just really looking forward to this one. So the original release date for this one was mentioned as April 24th, but I think that Listom 40 announced that it's going to be pushed back a month. So it's coming out somewhere later in May, I think. But we'll just need to kind of keep Goodreads and Amazon. We need to be on the lookout for the correct date, but it's going to be sometime in May, I think. Okay, we've made some progress. We have about 15 books left. I'm going to continue with the May releases where we have a May 6th release by Rachel Lynn Solomon. I've read other books by this author before, most of them young adult, and I have enjoyed them, but this one specifically speaks to me because of the setting of the book. The book is called What Happens in Amsterdam, and I have lived in Amsterdam for a very long time, so the setting is what has got me into wanting to pick this book up, and the cover for this is gorgeous, very Holland themed, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one. And then another May 6th release is another book by Julie Soto. In my previous anticipated reads of 2025 romantasy video, I already mentioned she's going to come out with a romantasy book, but she's also coming out with a YA mystery thriller, and it has a subplot, a romance in it, so I'm very curious about this one. It's going to be called The Thrashers, and I don't want to know too much about it. Again, I'm going to be going in blind, and I'm going to be getting the audiobook through Storytel, so I'm definitely going to be picking this one up. Now, in 2024, I read a book by Vi Keeland, a thriller, which I highly enjoyed. And next year, she's going to have a romance release. So she's going back to romance. That is going to be called Jilted. And it's going to be a slow burn, swoony romance where 27 Dresses meets The Hating Game. I love this. I love this with all my heart because swoony romance, slow burn romance, I want more of those. I feel like lately we've been getting more of those quick insta love kind of romances. We need to get back to the slow burns, please. So I'm really looking forward to this one. And then in May, the Queen, Kennedy Ryan, is coming out with the 3rd book within her Skyland series. It's going to be Hendrix's story. It's going to be called Can't Get Enough, and it's coming out on May 13th. I really fell in love with Before I Let Go, and I really enjoyed This Could Be Us. So I'm anticipating that this is also going to be a 5-star read. Now, the next book I'm very much anticipating, but at the same time, I'm a bit anxious about. The book is by Catherine Center, and it's called The Love Haters. It's coming out on May 20th. And I'm excited because I've loved most of Catherine Center's books. But then one of my biggest disappointments was her release this year, The Rom-Commers. So I'm really holding out hope that it was a one-off and that next year's release I'm really going to love. Now, the next release I'm very much looking forward to because I saw Chandler from Chandler Ainsley's channel read this book as an arc, and she said that already now it's her favorite book of next year. So that sounds very promising. The book is called Left to Forever by Tara DeWitt. It's also coming out on May 20th, and it's a second chance emotional spicy romance. Yes, please. Second chance romances. Again, slow burn, angst, tension, swoon. Give me all of that. I've been missing that in romance, so yes, please. And then in the month of June, we're getting the second book by Nevessa Allen. That's the follow-up book to Lights Out. The book is going to be called Caught Up, and it's going to come out on June 10th. It's going to be a fast-paced dark romance with a morally gray male lead. Yes. Yes, please. I loved Lights Out, and I'm definitely looking forward to a second book within the series. Now, this year, I really loved the new release by Danielle Allen called Curvy Girl Summer. And next year, she's going to have a new release as well, which is going to be called Plus Size Player. It's coming out also on June 10th. And what Goodreads says is that it's going to be a witty novel about finding the perfect partner and how sometimes what you're looking for is right in front of you. Yes, please. I'm very much looking forward to this one. June is going to be a good month. I'm just checking out all the other releases and I'm looking forward to all of them. The next one is by Ashley Poston. It's going to be called Sounds Like Love. And even though I didn't love the 2024 release by Ashley Poston, I'm very much looking forward to the next one because I think this one was just one-off for me because it just wasn't the kind of setting that I typically love. This one has another musical kind of setting, which I love. It says that a hit-making songwriter and a bitter musician share a startling and inexplicable connection that they'll do anything to shake. So again, sounds like there's some kind of a magical aspect between them, maybe some telepathic kind of a connection. I'm not sure, but it's really sounding very cute and very good. And it's coming out on June 17th. And another June 17th release is the next book within the Vancouver Hockey Romance series by Stephanie Archer, which is going to be called Gloves Off. I really love the Fake Out. I really like The Wingman, and I'm very much looking forward to another book within her hockey series. All right, so there's only a couple more, I promise. We've got the next one coming out on June 25th, which is by Mia Sosa. I haven't read a Mia Sosa book in a while, and I'm looking forward to this one. It's called When Javi Dumped Mary. And it's a best friends to lover situation with a pining hero where the heroine is due to marry someone else. Yes, please. Yes, please. I'm looking forward to this one. The next one is actually a debut novel, and it's a sapphic romance. This one is called We Are a Match by Mary E. Roach. This one is coming out on July 29th, and it's a Helen of Troy reimagining. I love Helen of Troy. I love Greek mythology, and it's a sapphic romance. It sounds good. So sapphic, Helen of Troy reimagining. So that would mean that Helen gets together with whom? I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to it. And then the next one is by Kate Golden. I have to say that with Kate Golden, I tried her last book that was quite popular. It didn't work for me, but this one sounds really good. This one is coming out on August 5th. It's called If Not For My Baby, which is a rock star romance where the rock star has a relationship with his backup singer. I'm looking forward to this one, and I think I saw like the cover for it on Instagram and it looked really good, so I'm looking forward to it. Now, the next one is a highly, highly anticipated release for me because I've been loving this series by Sierra Simone. It's going to be called Bitter Burn. It's the third book within her Lioness series. Yes, please. I loved Honeycut so much this year. It was a 5-star read for me, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one. It's coming out on September 30th next year. We're going to be treated next year by BK Borson. She's coming out with 2 books. The second one is going to be called Good Spirits. It's coming out on the 7th of October, a day before my birthday. And it's going to be a Christmas-themed romance where the romance is with a ghost. Yes, please. That sounds so good. So spooky, but at the same time, holiday themed, so Christmassy. Yes, please. That sounds so good. And the last book I'm going to mention is one that has been pushed off for a long time, but I think Lucia Franco mentioned that the release date will be in 2025. It's going to be Xavier and Avery's story, who are characters off of her Off Balance series, so like a spin-off book. This is going to be, the book is going to be called Love Me With Lies, and there is no official release date for it yet, but I'm holding out hope because I think it was supposed to come out in 2024, but then she mentioned that she was still going through some edits, and I'm just holding out hope for 2025 as a release date. All right, dear friends, these were the 40 book releases that I'm very much looking forward to next year when it comes to the contemporary romances. There's so many, and I already said in my previous video, I'm just looking forward to the new year because there's going to be so many amazing books to look forward to. And I'm just hoping that many of the ones that I'm anticipating are going to be 4 or 5-star reads for me. Please let me know if I've missed any books that are on your radar that I should be including in my TBR, and let me know which books you're genuinely excited for in the new year as well. I hope you have a splendid turn of the year. I hope you have the best kind of time, again, with your loved ones, that you're celebrating the new year in the best possible way for yourself. And I'll see you in the new splendid year in 2025. Have a happy new year. Have a wonderful, marvelous day. Happy reading. Take care and bye-bye.